There's a huge misconception when it comes to Multiversus classes. The game doesn't really do a good job explaining classes, for the most part. But here's why they are named the way they are. In RPG games, you have archetypes, that's why it's called a role-playing game, because you have characters designed to play a certain role. You have the warrior that's powerful, you have the thief that's speedy, you have the mage that uses magic or projectiles, and then you have the cleric that specializes in healing other party members. That's the idea behind how these classes were named, and I figure that player first games got the idea that the audience would easily understand this. But apparently they don't. There's been some noise among Multiversus communities regarding characters and how they are classified, such as Marvin the Martian and Bugs Bunny. Until recently, Marvin was known as an assassin. And some players argued that he didn't have many attacks that are strong and can ring out opponents. And Bugs is still known as a mage, even though he has very hard-hitting attacks. Players preferred he'd be identified as an assassin. But what if I told you, many players have grossly misunderstood the assassin role? Perhaps one of the most complex class types in the game is that of assassin-type fighters in Multiversus. Boasting a current roster of Arya Stark, Finn, and Harley Quinn, assassin types are purely focused on dealing huge amounts of damage. This is absolutely untrue. Many major news outlets have picked this up as fact, when it turned out to be absolutely wrong. Assassins aren't high damage. Because what would be the point of a bruiser? The bruiser characters are supposed to be powerful. Bruisers are essentially the warrior archetype. They're not as quick as assassins, but they're powerful. They have attacks that aren't as swift, but they have decent range, and the characters themselves have decent weight. They're best when they fight up close and personal. Mages are the easiest archetype to understand because they simply have projectile attacks. But the reason why Bugs is classified as a mage and not any other archetype is because of his speed. I'm a Bugs main, and I can safely say he does not live up to his name at all. He is slower than molasses. From his side jab to his pie toss, there are many attacks he has with very long delays, encouraging players to fight from a distance. Bugs is not what assassins are about. They are not about high damage. They are about quick damage. They're known to be highly mobile and deal fast attacks. When you compare Bugs to Arya, they play very differently. I also main Arya, and by no means is she powerful. Sure, you can do crazy combos with her. But on paper, she is a very weak character that compensates with fast attacks and high mobility. Her neutral ground attack can be deployed almost twice as fast as Bugs' neutral ground attack. Assassins are most comparable to the thief or rogue class in typical RPGs, where they're weak, but they're also swift. When you compare all these fighters, also Taz as well, but they forgot to update this roster, but when you compare all these fighters, the one thing they have in common is their speed, not their power. Their attacks in general are overall quick and punchy, rather than powerful. If the Flash were in this game, it's a given he would be an assassin. And that was why Marvin was known as an assassin all this time. His attacks too have been known as fast from his side jab to his ground down attack. He was never meant to be a powerful character, and player first games should clarify what these classes truly mean. But I propose these classes should just be outright renamed so that they're easier to understand. Assassin should be renamed to Speed. Bruiser should be renamed to Power. Mage should be renamed to Range. And Tank should be renamed to Defense. These new names are to the point. Because if you were to select Arya, you would know right away she's a speedy character judging by the class called Speed. Assassin doesn't correlate to Speed, so it just makes no sense. Why are they even called assassins? I understand that thief would be misleading because none of these characters rob, but how is the word assassin any better?